6 secrets revealed: how to save FIFA penalties. A goalkeeper is given a lot of leeway by the referees when it comes to facing a penalty. Keepers should take advantage of the ref's leniencies and FIFA's generosity in not enforcing the rules. Penalties are awarded as a substitute for a goal-scoring chance being illegally taken away, and in the case of a penalty shootout, is just a method to decide the winner. What must be understood is that a penalty gives the taker 90% chance to score. This means the goalkeeper will be applauded for saving a penalty, or at least coming close to saving one, and almost never ridiculed for letting one in. When facing a penalty in a match or a penalty shootout, you must ask yourself one question. Are you playing football like a saint or a person that cannot bend the rules? If you are, then you must ignore point number 1. When a penalty is awarded, the first thing a keeper should do is grab the ball and walk towards the penalty spot, where invariably the opposition player is about to take the penalty, will be waiting. It's now that you've got to be the opposite of what your parents always thought you'd become, a law-abiding, humble and decent human being. You must try your best to make the penalty taker nervous. Say something like, "Oi, I'm going to save this. Whatever you do, even if you miss, it means I've saved it." Or, "Are you sure you want to take it?" And not last on the list, "I saw you playing. You don't have much of a kick on you, do you?" Then the referee will come over and suddenly you should become the most law-abiding citizen on the planet. "Oh, sorry, ref, it's my fault." Then you give the ball to the opposition player and smile in a way that says you feel sorry for him or her. Then you saunter backwards towards your own goal. When you're going back, you can call out to your teammates that they needn't worry. You know which side he or she is going to take the penalty. If there are fans, rile them up a bit to put the penalty taker off his concentration. You're warned though. You must check if the referee is getting frustrated. If the referee starts getting irritated, he or she will favor the penalty taker. Don't let that happen. You should know when to press the buttons and when to lay off. Of course, if the penalty taker does end up scoring, you can acknowledge it with a thumbs up or anything that shows he won the encounter. Or you can continue being a pain up his ass by giving him the finger or something like that. But you must forget the goal because you need to start your crap for the next penalty taker. Never guess the side the penalty taker will aim for, which means never guess a side to dive at. You must remember that a penalty taker has all the cards. If you're a betting man or lady and also love the share market, to make money you must understand that luck or superstition should never be the deciding factor. Penalty takers, mostly the experienced and very talented, can wait till the last possible moment before taking a shot. This means he or she will wait for the keeper to dive and then kick the ball down the other side or down the middle. That's why a keeper should never guess. I've always taught the goalkeepers I've trained or players I've advised to measure the area between the poles. It should be around 24 feet or around 7.3 meters. But as was mentioned in the video, 11 secrets revealed on how to take a FIFA penalty. In some countries, you can't be positive that a goal is the official size. Obviously, taking a measuring tape would be a bit too much, so you must use your feet and count it out old style, 1 foot after the other or in strides, 1 yard at a time. Divide the goal into 3 parts by making 2 marks. Each part should be equal, and while measuring, make a mark for the center of the goal too. Most every goalkeeper has a good side and a bad side. This means that 90% of all goalkeepers, especially the amateur ones, prefer diving on one side more than the other. What the goalkeeper should do is stand a little to the left or right of the central mark. This depends on the side you're most comfortable diving at. Therefore, if you prefer diving to your left, stand a little to the right of the mark and vice versa. Standing a little to the side of the central mark can also show the penalty taker that one side of the goal is bigger than the other. What this will do is either make the penalty taker overconfident because that's the side he or she's chosen to shoot, or to make him or her lose his or her confidence as the side he or she is going for is suddenly almost non-existent because the goalkeeper is standing in the spot he or she was going to target. What I must add here is that when you leave one side to dive and the other not to, diving on your bad side won't be a problem because you're already positioned there. This isn't the end of this point though. Every goalkeeper needs to take a step before diving, and this step must be taken just after the penalty taker takes the kick. A keeper can use his feet too. Let's imagine the keeper has unfortunately been swayed by the penalty taker and has made his dive a fraction early. The experienced and talented penalty taker manages to change the direction of his shot, but not by much. The goalkeeper can still do something about this if the shot's not angled well. The goalie can use his feet to stop the ball. Sometimes keepers tend to try and stop a ball kicked near their legs by diving down just because they are keepers and should use their hands. This is nonsense. The first duty of a goalkeeper is not to let the opposition score. If by using their feet, stopping the ball or changing its direction increases the chances of a save, then the keeper must use his or her feet. Goalkeepers should take advantage of being allowed to move on the goal line before a penalty is taken. Many goalkeepers have tried different methods to trick the penalty taker. Some keepers have stood literally next to one of the poles before the whistle, allowing the penalty taker to aim at the open side. This keeper was so talented and agile, and most importantly very tall, that he was able to leap full length and save a few shots on the open side. Of course, after taking a few steps towards the ball, as mentioned in point number 4. Some goalies move sideways, left and right, to disturb the penalty taker's concentration. My advice to a keeper is to use these methods only because it may be useful to him or her. If the movement actually puts the keeper off his or her natural keeping ability, then the movement should be scrapped or used purely because there's nothing else you can do. Many keepers are coached to take a step forward and then dive. The idea is that the keeper will come closer to the ball and reach the ball quicker as the distance is shorter. This method would be ideal for the keeper that's told to guess which side to dive. But my advice in point number 2 is not to guess, which means the keeper should dive sideways all the time. Diving forwards is an open play option.